Hey, CPU Intermediate students, it's Mrs. Offerman, your school nurse. So, sorry I didn't get to you on Monday, but here I am today on Thursday talking about our last two things to keep us healthy. Okay, I need to go back to my notes. We've talked about 4 things so far. Healthy food for our bodies, getting lots of sleep, exercising our muscles, and keeping our bodies safe. Well, today we're moving on to 5 and 6. Number 5 is helping our bodies keep from getting sick. Now, we all know that there's germs and viruses and bacteria out there that can get in our bodies and make us sick. We can get the common cold, we can get the stomach flu, we can get the flu where we cough and we have a temperature. And now we've been hearing a lot about this kind of stuff because of the new coronavirus. So we're gonna talk about some of the things you've probably heard a lot recently. Washing your hands for 20 seconds, really good. And hopefully you've seen some of the videos about how to wash your hands. And if you haven't, let me know and I'll send some. I've even seen some where people use paint and show that when they wash their hands, where the paint has gone, and so many people miss areas of their hand, like their thumbs, like around the tops of their thumbs. And so you have to really scrub and rinse and scrub and get that soap everywhere and then rinse it all away, rinse those germs down the drain. So washing your hands, it's not just in, rinse, throw some soap on and go. Like, you actually have to scrub. Because think about how many things you touch a day. We're constantly using our hands to touch. We touch everything. Think about how many times you touch a light switch or a doorknob. So that brings me to my second point. We need to be disinfecting or cleaning and killing those germs that are on frequently touched items. Things like light switches and doorknobs. Do you, when you clean your house and help your family, typically for me, I dust and I vacuum and I pick things up. I don't know that I always think about cleaning doorknobs or light switches, but having the coronavirus come has kind of reminded us all that these things we touch all the time really need to get clean because there's germs all over them because we're touching them. So that's something you can do when you're helping your family clean your house at home. Get some disinfecting wipes or some spray and some cloths and wipe down all the doorknobs and the light switches and your countertops and your telephones and your iPads and all that stuff that you're touching all the time and not necessarily cleaning. All right, so covering your cough, that's really important. And you've noticed now that there's a lot of people wearing masks. So that is because, you have saliva in your mouth, that moisture. When you breathe, when you talk, when you cough, when you sneeze, little microscopic drops of that liquid in your mouth leave your mouth and go into the air. Okay, you can't see it. So you can see it like when you cough and sneeze, like if you sneeze into your hand gets wet. But that same thing happens when you talk or when you breathe. But it's so microscopic that you can't see it. But the coronavirus or other viruses that are in the respiratory system are in those little droplets that go out into the air. So those can float around in the air, and then if you're standing next to someone talking, they can breathe those microscopic things, droplets in the air that you can't see into their body, and then they've gotten it. So that's why people are doing a lot of masks to help prevent those microscopic drops, called droplets, into the air so that when they're grocery shopping, the person walking beside them that, they didn't necessarily want to be with you today, they just happened to be by you at the grocery store, that they're not breathing that in. So you also protect yourself by wearing a mask by not breathing other people's in, but you're wearing that mask mainly to prevent those droplets in your mouth from coming out. So cough into your sleeve, sneeze into your sleeve, a tissue, but then wearing masks is really important right now for the coronavirus. During like the cold and flu season, we didn't used to do that. We would just hope people would cover their mouths and then wash their hands. Stay home when you're sick. Especially with the coronavirus, some people get really mild symptoms, but it's still super, super contagious and you could give it to somebody else that could get really sick. So we just want to stay home when we're sick. Your immune system is amazing. I could go into a whole conversation about the immune system, but we don't really have time. So if you want to look it up, go to kidshealth.org and look up the immune system. It's fascinating. But we need to keep our immune system healthy. And so all the things we've already talked about, getting lots of sleep, drinking water, healthy foods, exercise, those all keep your immune system working well so that when you do get something in your body, if you didn't wash your hands or if you did and you still got it, whatever, your immune system helps fight that stuff away. No, it doesn't always do everything. We still need help from doctors and different things like that and medicine to kick those germs. But okay, so that was a lot. So we're gonna go on to number 6, keeping our brain healthy. Okay, so just like keeping our body healthy with all those things, again, food, exercise, sleep, water, wearing your helmet. There's all those things keep your brain healthy, just like your body. We also need to exercise our brain. Our brain is a muscle and we need to exercise it. So reading is a great way to exercise your brain. Doing puzzles or word problems or like crossword puzzles or word searches, things that you have to like think, or even like sometimes there's little like card games where you like read a word puzzle and have to figure it out. That's like exercising your brain. So that's super, super good for your brain. Drugs and alcohol are super bad for your brain, okay? So let's just cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, just not even a no-go. There's nothing beneficial that comes from. And your brains are constantly growing when you're this age, and we just need to keep those chemicals out because they go straight to your brain and affect the composition of things happening in there. So the other thing we need to talk about is screen time. Screens are great. You do screens at school. We use them for learning. We use them for reading. But there are studies out there that have showed that kids that use screens constantly, like it does affect your brain. And since we don't know a ton about it yet, we just need to be cautious and careful, okay? So once you get to your age, the pediatric doctors that kind of figure out all the rules for us and what's good for kids and what's not good for kids and limit on this and limit on that, or what you should do or shouldn't do, like how many minutes of exercise you need a day. They can't really agree on a time, and it's really kid dependent. So they suggest that you and your family talk about setting limits for screen time and that you just be consistent with your family. And that includes the time you use for schoolwork. So it's not just schoolwork and reading is unlimited and then you have a certain limit of screen time. You have to think about all those screens, tablets, TVs, gaming systems, all count and total up in the day. They all have that light that affects your eyes, that goes into your brain. So you have to think, like, is this screen time taking up time with my family, with my friends, with sleeping, with eating, with time I could be exercising? So think through all those things with your family, and I would really suggest, especially going into summer and now you've been home for all of these weeks, you've had a lot more opportunity to be on screens and maybe being less active. So it's a great time to think it through, talk with your family, maybe make some family limits, even for mom and dad. We need limits too, and it's really good, and you guys can keep us accountable. I know I've taught my children from the time that they could talk to say, Mommy, put your phone down if I'm using it too much, because I don't want to have a relationship with my phone. I want to have a relationship with my kids, and your parents feel the same way, and your brothers and your sisters and your friends. So that's it. 6 ways to keep your bodies healthy, your brain's healthy, everything healthy. We need to keep our bodies safe and strong and healthy so that we can live big, long lives. You've got a lot of learning and growing to do. And I can't wait to see you guys again in the fall. And all you 5th graders, and to be 6th graders, I will miss you. Bye, guys.